Wayne Spooney, First to the Floor podcast. I am joined by Jake Eisenberg, as I so very often am. Jake, how we doing today, brother?
We're good. We're good. We're cruising through the off season. Football's almost here, which is exciting. I know we got the first of the floor fantasy draft coming up next week. We're putting the finishing details on the live show. Tickets are imminent, hopefully. 29th of October, Thursday, is the 99.9% likelihood of that day being the live show. So cancel all of your plans. I know you don't have any anyway. Let's be honest. If you're listening to First to the Floor, you're not doing anything on Thursday night. You're going to come see the boys on 29th of October.
I'm pretty sure my mom is going to be there. So if you want to
Yes.
come meet my mom, definitely come join us. It should be awesome. Really looking forward to it. Hope to have like everything finalized tomorrow. Fingers
Yeah.
crossed, knock on wood. And then so Patreon subscribers are going to get first access to tickets and I think a discount.
Yeah.
Then if you are not part of the Patreon, that I think a day or two later, the tickets will go on sale for everybody who's not part of the Patreon. So join the Patreon. It's perfect timing. You got about 48 hours. 24,
That's right.
48 hours. So go join that Patreon right now.
Join the Patreon, get a huge discount on the super cheap tickets.
Yes.
I think you'll definitely come out behind in that scenario, but we would appreciate it regardless. Spoony, look, there's a bit of a slow drip of news in the NBA calendar. This is like really that time of year. But if you are on the Patreon, you saw me crack open a packet of basketball cards from the 24-25 like Cooper Flag rookie class. And I personally had a great time. Stephen from the Discord obviously was the one live viewer at that time. And the cards were terrible for the first half. And then all of a sudden it was Jokic, Melo, D Wade, rookie, Dirk, rookie. I have no idea if any of them are worth any money, but it was just a good time. So jump into that. And I think there's probably going to be some drunk opening of basketball cards or sober in Boston, which I'm looking forward to doing with the fellas. But Jayson Tatum and Drew Hanlon posted a video of Jayson Tatum doing some workouts. And there's been a pretty consistent theme over the past during this offseason when it comes to Tatum's offseason workouts. And it's a lot of like short mid-range stuff. We're seeing a lot of floater work. We got the video playing here on YouTube. And if he's able to improve anything in his game, that would be awesome. But that is definitely a weakness of his game, is the short mid-range and the mid-range in general, at least relative to how good he is at everything else. Pretty much like high 30% mid-range guy. And that is true of all mid-range, long mid-range, short mid-range. So I think asking him to be elite in that range is probably unlikely. But there's one play right at the end that I really like. He gets to 2 feet, not that one. Here it comes next. Drive to his, to the middle, gets to 2 feet, pump fakes, and then comes to the kind of left and finishes like a floating jumper a la Jimmy Butler. That range, Spoony, would really, I think, kind of round out his offensive game.
Yeah, so his last full season, so 24-25 season in the regular season, 38% from 10 to 14 feet and 36.5% from 15 to 19 feet. So you're absolutely right. To the extent he has an inefficient range, and from 5 to 9 feet, 47.4%, which isn't terrible, but it's not good. I mean, that is short floater range. So he is, to the extent he has a range in which he's pretty inefficient, that's it. Look, the volume is pretty low, and I'm okay with that. Look, I want Tatum getting all the way to the rim, or if he's not able to, if he drives and he gets cut off around that range, I want him to look pass first.
Yeah.
But in the playoffs, especially, those are the types of shots you need somebody to generate, especially in like fourth quarters. And that's probably that is definitely the shot Jaylen Brown thrived and was better at than Tatum. And that has the most value in the playoffs. And as the rounds go on, it gets even more valuable because defenses give it to you.
Mhm.
And when it's the playoffs, you cannot be picky on decent shots. You just need to generate looks at the rim, shots on goal. So I'm very, very encouraged by this videotape. Obviously, look, Mitchell Robinson's posting videos of him like
Off
bare,
season.
so it's the off season. Take it with a grain of salt. But I do think it is the right place for Jayson Tatum to focus on because there's really nothing else for him to get
Yeah.
like too much better at, other
Yeah.
than like maybe those get a little bit better, but still.
And I cut that part of the video. There was like a middle section of that video that is just the pull up threes. And you just kind of, when you watch some of these videos, you realize how ridiculous these guys are. It's got like Hanlon, obviously, is short, contesting him on one side, but then he's got his other train with that long blue, contest tool attached. And he's just splashing these threes over the top of guys, which obviously is what he does in real life as well. I know we covered this off the back of the 2024 season. Pimpernino King, a regular in the chat these days, which we appreciate, kind of talking about how having mixed feelings about Hanlon. I thought he was going to talk about how Hanlon, friend of the pod, hope he's
Yep.
maybe just like some of the tweets. Like, we don't need you to be, yeah, I don't think Tatum needs all of these like supporters, and I think it makes things worse, in my opinion, with some of the online tweets about Tatum defending him. Just let it go. But people think that Tatum's like jump shot got broken throughout his career. And it's kind of ironic because Hanlon's been working with Tatum since he was like 13. So like,
Yeah.
if you're going to give credit for the early season jump shot, but the reason his 3-point numbers are kind of better, especially his rookie season, is because the shot quality and difficulty was a lot easier. Like, when you're the type of apex superstar that Jayson Tatum is, the defenses just start to treat you in a completely different way. And that, I think, is where the 3-point percentage comes in. And then Tatum, as we know, just likes to take some difficult shots. And that's where the 3-point dip kind of comes in. The catch and shoot numbers are always pretty much in that 40% range every year of his career, even as he became a superstar. But yeah, you look at the Brunson, and obviously Tatum's it's different when you're not a guard like a Brunson or a Shea. Like, there's just, those guys are going to be better in those spots. But yeah, can you just add a little bit of efficiency, add a little bit of a different look for those high leverage playoff moments where you just need 2 points? Is there another way you can get them?
Yeah, absolutely. And like, to your point on the 3-point shot selection, tightly contested threes a game in the 18-19 season for Jayson Tatum. He took 0.5 a game. 24-25, he took 3.2. Again, tightly contested 3-point attempts. Like, he's just taking worse shots. Like, he's always been an elite catch and shoot guy every single season. So when he gets it loaded up on the catch and shoot, he's 40+%. It's the fact that he not only likes to take those shots, he has to. It makes for healthy offense. He needs to be a threat with the pull-up game because he's not like, he doesn't have a ridiculous first step where he can just like blow by people like some of the guards in the league, right? He has to have people get off balance. He needs them lunging out to take away his pull-up, and then he can just blow right by them with the handle. But yes, like, he's going to see a lot of help this year. I think teams especially are going to be like, there's no Jaylen Brown. Maybe some of the less intelligent teams are going to say there's no Jaylen Brown. We're going to make other people beat us. Like, so we're going to push up on Tatum, and I think he will be able to get to the rim, see a lot of help, and maybe, there'll be times where he can kick it out, but there's also going to be times where it's like him switched onto a big, and the only shot he can really generate is in that floater range. So if he adds that to his game, he's like the truest 3-level scorer, high level elite playmaker at 6'9". And I think, actually, let me, I feel like this is a very Eisenberg-y question, Jake. So I want to ask you, if I gave you 50% from mid-range or 36% from 3, so I can guarantee one of those and the other one's a mystery box.
Oh,
which one are you taking?
It's definitely the mid-range, because I think he's going to get to like 35% from 3. That's kind of where he lives now has the last couple of seasons with his volume. So if you had said 37% from 3, 38% from 3,
Let's
then
do
that's when
37 and a half.
37 and a half, I'm going 3-point range,
Yeah,
because he's going to just take so many threes this season. But 50% from the mid-range is such a huge jump in efficiency from the high 30s, and maybe he starts to take some more if he starts to knock them down. I forget what season it was. Maybe it was like the 22-23 season when Sam Cassell came in and he was like working on the post, like back down game and fadeaway mid ranges. And he started off the season super hot. And it always ends up like right in the same place.
Yep.
So I do think that asking him to shoot the same shots and just make more of them, that ship's pretty much sailed as your 27, 28, 29-year-old. But if you're able to change your approach in the short mid-range zone, because I do like getting guys off balance, being really big down there, 2 feet, getting the pump fake game, I do think that is an untapped spot. But actually just asking him to shoot the ball better at this point, I'm not sure how many guys just that happens for. But the Celtics have been kind of touched by shooting devil magic. It feels like a little bit of recent years. So maybe Tatum can enjoy some of that.
Let's hope so. Yeah, that would be great. I think, yeah, if it's 37.5, I think you got to take the threes, man. And to the point of just like the expected or the actual value of that shot is just higher when it's 37.5% from three versus 50%. That's 1 point expected value, and it's like 1 point whatever from three. So just math wise, you got to take the 37.5. But I think,
yeah, but like as you said in the playoffs, it's like, okay, well, we need 2 points. Well, give me the shot that's got a 50% chance of going in.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to keep the cushion, right? Like or you need to chip away at a lead. And the shot that goes in more often can, in small sample sizes, make more sense. So I think it's an interesting question. What I would really love is both.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
I've been seeing some clips go, like my algorithms, like Everton highlights and like Jayson Tatum highlights, basically, and now Magic cards. But dude, like the way he manipulates defenders with his dribble is just so high level. He's so fucking good at basketball. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like the hang dribbles, the inside out dribbles. I think he might have the best handle at his size of all time.
Who? Yeah, I mean,
it might be George is the other guy. I think.
Yeah, if you're KG
over 6'8",
better handle than Durant for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I think LeBron, I wouldn't say is that like has the handle, but he's better at getting downhill because he is just a giant freight train, right?
Yeah.
Kawhi is shorter, but his handle is crazy tight for a guy in that wing range. Yeah, it's an absolutely he's got a. But yeah, Paul George is a great call. Two dudes that are just unicorns as far as like size blended with the shooting and the handle. They're going to shoot a lot of pull-up threes. So if anyone's not looking forward, like doesn't like pull-up threes, like they're going to shoot a fucking lot of them between Tatum, Paul George, Derek, and Pritchard. It's a lot of guys that are really good at shooting pull-up threes. And it's going to put a lot of pressure on the defense. And I think that's actually going to open up the rim. When guys are playing up, and to your point about Tatum being able to use that kind of defensive pressure against defenses to get downhill and create for himself and others, we're going to see a lot of that. Before, I have a question for you about Tatum and player rankings going into next season. Before we get to that, should we hit our friends over at Prize Picks here?
I think we should. I've got it up.
Hell yeah, because you've been hot.
Spoonie's
been hot preseason because we got NFL around the corner, and we're going to be diving deep into the NFL. I mean, you can even start sprinkling on Patriots, Seahawks. We're that close, which is very exciting. AJ Brown, we're going to be taking a lot this season, I think. But the WNBA, it's all happening. They've got something going on every day, whether it's actual basketball or otherwise. We got golf, we got tennis. It's all happening over on Prize Picks. So download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Prize Picks, America's #1 sports pick app.
Yeah, to your point, Jake, you said it. I'm hot. I'm 2 in a row on WNBA entries on Prize Picks here. Olivia Miles hooked it up along with Burton last time out. So today we're focusing on. I've gone the Shakira Austin, who's the big for Washington, a few times. We're going more 11.5 points for her against Phoenix tonight. And we are gonna go Kalia Cooper. She fire them up, Kalia. More 5 3-pointers attempted tonight. So that is going to be $20 to win 38. Love it. Put that in. Let's go for 3 in a row here on Prize Picks.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Prize Picks, get in there. Would really help out the CLNS network and us. Even if you just chuck on one of those, get your CLNS code in there. All right, Spoonie. So I've been getting duped lately by like old content that everyone's posting in the off season.
I saw that.
And like, which is quite funny. One, someone posted, I think it was Greeny actually, and it was like no context at all. It was just a video. And you look, man, you're on your phone, you're on the toilet at work, you're in the break room.
I get
it. And one of the criticisms, it was like an open run. Pritchard was there, Shea was there, Mobley was there, and half the comments were like, dude, Shea hasn't had that hair in like 2 seasons. And I'm like, brother, what are we doing? Who's noticing that? And 2, you're talking to the wrong guy about noticing people's hairstyles.
Yeah.
So didn't notice that.
And also, it's been 4 months since, or 2-3 months since we've seen him. He could have changed. Like, that's not crazy.
See hair. I don't see hair. You guys might see hair. I don't see hair.
Post-hair world. Yeah.
It's post-hair world. And the other one was like someone reposted the Ringer rankings after the playoffs, which people were like, these rankings are old, but the rankings were made after the playoffs finished. So they're still valid in my opinion.
Yep.
So the Ringer had Tatum at like 13th or 12th with 1 spot ahead of Jalen. And the other only rankings I've seen is Jayson Tatum had Tatum at 9th. I haven't watched the video yet, but I'm looking forward to that. Ahead of Steph, LeBron, Jalen at 12, KD, Embiid, Halliburton, Kawhi. So he's behind Jokic, Wemby, Shea, Luka, Brunson, and Cade Mitchell. And I'm like, my general feeling about Tatum rankings right now is I can't actually get mad. I do feel like it's fair to ask him to kind of have to prove it again.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I absolutely. I think 9th from 10th is totally fair. And I don't really fault the Ringer for having him at 12 or 13. He looked about like the 12th or 13th best guy in the NBA last time we saw him, right? Like, he definitely was not at 100%. He wasn't playing his best. I would feel the same. Always feel this way about Kawhi, is like when people would have Kawhi in like the top 5, I'd be like, that's ridiculous, man. The guy played 35 games last year. Like, it's stupid to just say like, well, when he's healthy, he's the 5th best guy in the NBA. So therefore in my player rankings, he's the 5th. No, like availability, playing games, and like proving you're still the same guy absolutely matters. So I'm with you. Like, that doesn't bother me at all. I am very, very confident he's going to prove very quickly he deserves right back to be up in that top 5 conversation, though.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. And man, I wish he wouldn't have gotten hurt at the end of that series. Even if they had lost, even for these conversations where it's like, oh, well, he came back. He was playing a ton of minutes, looked pretty, like, again, as you said, top 10 to 15 player. And we never really got details on what that injury was, how long that would have kept him out. Like, it's just the timing of it. But I think it's totally fair to be like, hey, man, he couldn't even finish the season. And I think the additional context on top of that is that he came back in pretty much record time as a star in the NBA for an Achilles injury, and not just playing, but playing 42 and a half minutes. I went back and was like maybe watching the pod or looking at the game, and I was like, me and Greeny were so hyped after game 3, and Tatum had played like 42 and a half minutes. He's like, he's back, daggers. And in hindsight, so yeah, asking him to play 40 plus minutes, less than 11 months, 12 months coming off an Achilles, and is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, not a great idea.
Yeah. Like, you contrast that to when Kevin Durant came back, and you look at his playoff run, his first playoffs after the Achilles, when he played in that Nets series against the Bucks, where he had his toe on the line. He played the entire regulation and overtime in that game. Like, he played like just an absurd amount of minutes. But you remember, he opted to not come back to the bubble, I want to say. and then like he had a full 18 months
Yeah.
between injuring and then playing basketball again. Halliburton didn't come back. Dame didn't come back. So Tatum came back earlier than all those guys. And I think that it's a good thing in the big picture because he's going to have be over the mental hurdle of coming back, as we saw in his opener and kind of first 5-10 games back, kind of shaking the rust off. But I think it's fair. And I'm confident in his health, but I think for like an objective national view, it is kind of hard to put him ahead of some of these guys. I personally would have him. I think the one guy that annoys me is Donovan Mitchell. I'm like, good player. What do we? He's just not good enough. He's just not in that conversation as being able to drive winning at the highest level. But again, I don't really care.
Yeah, no, Mitchell was dog shit in the conference finals, man. Like, I guess he was banged up, but like, dude, he just looked completely outclassed by Brunson. Like, he did not deserve to be in that type of conversation. So, and that's just offensively, you know what I mean? Never mind, he's a 6'1" guard who, defends on and off. But actually, speaking of, should we just talk about the Peyton Watson trade?
Yep, perfect time.
Yeah. So, the Nuggets have signed a trade. I'm bringing up the
so they lose Peyton Watson. They did get a 2031, I want to say, maybe in 2033, unprotected pick.
Yep. And that's and the Clippers get Max Strus and Trey Mann goes to the Wizards. And obviously Peyton wants it as a prize. He signs a big old contract. And he's on his way to Cleveland. So I guess like I'm a fan. I really like Peyton Watson. I watched some Nuggets games when he was having that run and he just looked like a budding superstar. He's like hitting pull-up threes, getting downhill, he's making passes. I don't think that's real. But I do think he's a very good player. And I'm not like, I think this is going to look really bad though if the shooting falls apart. And regresses to the mean. If the shooting's real, I think this is like a home run contract because it's really just like $22 million a year. It's not that much compared to what a lot of guys are getting. He's a plus defender. He's got upside. He's hyper athletic. He's got really good size on the wing. I think the problem is like they also just still have Harden and Donovan Mitchell. So I like Peyton Watson a lot. Yeah. Makes sense for the Cavs. And I really don't think it changes a damn thing for them.
Yeah. It's the toothpick meme. It's the guy. It's like you put a toothpick in, everything changes. And this is how I feel about pretty much every transaction in this particular part of the roster in this era of Cavs basketball. And we were supposed to actually have Tony Pesta on tonight, but he had a family thing to talk about the Cavs. And so we're probably going to have him on next week. But it's like this rotating door of DeAndre Hunter, who is still making more annuals than Peyton Watson's contract here, which he is the poster boy of the Jeremy Grant, DeAndre Hunter, like the guys that look like they should be the perfect spot here. Max Strus, Okoro, and I think Peyton Watson can be the best of these guys. Now, you do look at the shooting, and it's like he was 41% from three last year, 47% on catch and shoot threes. But now I will say the previous year he was 35% from three and 36% on catch and shoot threes. So like, and he is a young player that hasn't got a ton of reps. So I think it's fair to like, if it was us, we would be like, yeah, maybe that's a little over his head. But I think it's fair to think that he's probably trending in the right direction. Maybe like 41% from three and 47% on catch and shoot threes. That's probably over his head. But can he be 36% overall and 38% on catch and shoot threes? I think that's a pretty fair spot to put him. And he's the best defender of any of these wings that they've brought in for sure. But again, you're right. Harden is still there. Mitchell's still there. Mobley and Allen still are a weird fit together. And I think this just ends in the exact same way. And then you sign Harden to the extension, which I actually think was kind of a nice bit of business on one hand, in that you kind of need to keep him at that point. You can't lose him for nothing. Yeah. The 33 million-ish annual is kind of a fine number for him at this stage. It's more just like you're trying to win the title And if Harden's going to be your second, leader in touches and having the ball, you're just not winning the title. He's even when in his prime, you can go back and forth on whether or how close he was to doing it. But now it's really like, okay, if Harden's going to be your second most important ball handler, like you're just not winning the title.
Yeah, and look, I think Harden, he gets a bad rap. He's had some absolutely heinous playoff performances, but look, they took the Warriors to the absolute brink. In I think it was 2017. Like he drove winning at an extremely high level for a large portion of his career. He's just not that guy anymore, man. Like he's what is he, 37?
He's
Like he's
37
always yeah, he's always an on and off, always been an on and off, mostly off defender. Now he's just like
Yeah.
he's I would rather have him guard fours. Like he does kind of okay against fours.
Yeah, he's
But other
strong.
than that, yeah, he can't guard at the point of attack. Neither can Donovan Mitchell. And frankly, that's kind of the weakness of Peyton Watson's defense too. He's more
Yeah.
of like this version of Paul George, where he's like the help side,
Yeah.
disruptor who like you want him
Roma,
hanging.
Roma.
Yeah, you want him hanging off like the non-shooting wing and just causing absolute havoc. You don't want him defending the point guard. You don't want him defending Cade Cunningham. You don't want him navigating high ball screens 50 times a game. So who does it? The answer again for the Cavs is fucking nobody. And until they figure that out, and the only way to figure that out was to move on from Harden. So I agree. I think in a vacuum, that's a totally fair contract. I think maybe in 2 years, that last year might look, I'm not even sure that last year's guaranteed or if it's team option.
I couldn't even find that.
Yeah, no. But let's assume for these purposes, it's guaranteed. It's James Harden. I wouldn't be shocked if he was like, I need that thing guaranteed. Like that might be a bad year, but he's going to live up to that contract next year, especially as a regular season basketball player. But their team just still makes no fucking sense. And it's like they keep doubling down on it. Like you can't have one wing like Peyton Watson on the team. Look at all the best teams have like 5 of these guys, other than OKC, who used to have 5 of them and then like traded all of them. So, and was the strength of like, I don't know, man. Like I get why Cleveland did it. I think it's a good trade for Cleveland. And yet again, it's like their just insistence on building the exact same team every year is just madness to me.
But what are they supposed to do? I guess it's like you trade Mobley for Giannis. Would that have been the move? Like, was that even on the table? Because so it's a 28-29 player option.
Oh, so man, it's the worst one.
And it includes a trade kicker. So not optimal, I wouldn't say. But that being said, like these $35 million contracts now, that's pretty movable this day and age. But yeah, like they're in for this core. Like there's no pivot. They move, especially once they moved Garland, because now it's like you've gotten older. You just have to try and win and hope you get lucky. The problem is I don't even know what that looks like for them, because I feel like they got lucky in the most recent playoffs with the way that the bracket broke for them, and they got swept out of the conference finals by the Knicks, who were, to be fair, touched by God.
Yeah,
in that kind of playoff run. But like last year, the East was shitty compared to this year's East. I think it's going to be really hard to get through. It's going to be like another good team. They're going to probably win 50 plus games and be a tough out in the first or second round, or like not a tough out, kind of just like they're going to be an out.
Medium out.
They'll be an out. They're going to be an out in the playoffs. But this does kind of make me think like, so James Harden, similar to Paul George, I think he's a year older. James Harden did turn 37 2 days ago, actually.
Okay.
As a happy birthday to the beard. Happy birthday to my best friend Kieran today, actually, as well.
Nice.
Paul George is 36, turns 37 next May. So it's very similar age, obviously. But you're asking Paul George to play a very different role. But I was trying to think, okay, what is the contract extension for Paul George then? To do a similar thing in that you keep yourselves below certain thresholds in order to maintain optionality. Hope that hurt some people. As long as you possibly can. So it's like, I'm like, okay, $30 million annual is kind of what James Harden's gone for. So we can kind of just reasonably assume Paul George is in the same window. But Paul George has a $55 million player option. So 55 plus 35, does that take you to that takes you to 90? Is that right? 90 mil. And so can you get him on a 45 and then a 40, something like that? Like just to keep us below certain thresholds. Like 30 mil sounds like a lot now to Zach in the chat, but 30 mil now is such a minuscule part of the
it's half
cap.
the max. Yeah,
half the max.
Less than
now.
half the max now. Yeah.
Which
I agree.
Kick the can down the road. And especially if he's like, we'll see. If he plays well, you're going to feel good about it. I think there's a chance I'm kind of envisioning him as like 36-year-old Al Horford. You put him on the Al Horford plan. He plays 50 games. He plays elite defense and catch and shoot threes. And he turns it on in the playoffs. That's kind of what I envision for him.
Yeah, and if that happens, he'll be worth 30 million. He might be worth 40 if he turns into like, if we get the version that just played against us in the playoffs, like the team's going to be very good. I wonder if he declined the option and like spread it out. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
Like, yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
So you decline. Sorry, I probably just described that.
So decline the option, and then you give him 3 years, 90 or something like that.
Yeah,
or like so it's more guaranteed money, but his salary comes down next year. Yeah. Okay.
Even if it's a 2, like a 2 for 85 or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, sticker shock. No, you're right. It's fair. Yeah. Like it makes sense for all parties involved, but just thinking about paying
it just keeps us, because right now we're projected to go into the tax, but probably mostly because of his contract.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're able to shave 10 mil off it, I haven't dove into like those specific numbers yet, but like, is there a number that allows you to stay out of the aprons and out of the tax for 1 extra year as you build towards going over it again? I know people don't want to hear that, and I get it, but like I think that's very possible, considering how difficult it is to trade $55 million contracts, which makes me think, Spoonie, because in the wake of this trade, Denver fans are really upset because you've lost another good player out the door, like, and they've just been bleeding talent since the 23 title. I kind of like the DeMar DeRozan signing, especially on a minimum. I think it gives them like another ball handler and another look.
Yep.
Don't know. He's not changing their title chances probably, but I do like it. Does shit go wrong, and do the Celtics have the package? Because Bobby Manning was kind of getting flamed on Twitter for saying the Celtics don't have a package to offer for superstars. And I'm like, if you go through it, the Celtics do have a package that's competitive with pretty much anybody. Like the OKC draft packages aren't good anymore. They don't really, it's mostly their own picks. They have the Clippers pick this year, but it's apparently not a great draft. The 2028 Mavs pick's kind of like their last one that has kind of any upside to it. So I think with all the picks they've acquired and all the young guys, they can put a fuckload of assets on the table now.
Yeah, and I mean, I think our Clippers pick in a better draft is a better asset than the current pick. So yeah, man, I mean, look, when someone says you have nothing, there is no package we can put together. The only way that's true is if you literally can't do it contracts wise, right? Sure. Like maybe our package isn't the best, right? I've heard that my entire life, but that's like, it'll do the job. No, but like, I think the big thing with trading for Jokic, right, and similar to with Giannis, is like there's only so many teams who are in a position where they have a combination of assets, matching salary, and want to continue to win right now, right? Like Jokic is so good. Maybe some of these real shit teams want to get involved, but like, he's not going to go to the Pelicans. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to be like, he's just not going to agree to do that. He's going to want to go somewhere where he's going to have a chance to win titles. He's not going to go to Washington. So like all the teams with the real elite draft assets, you can essentially just put them to the side because Jokic isn't going to agree to a trade there. He's not going to agree to sign there long-term. So they're out, which leads the teams who are actually competitive, and amongst the competitive teams, it's OKC. The Rockets have some draft assets, as I recall, and some young talent. Us, And I mean, that's really it, right?
Yeah.
So we're, I think, very much in it if Jokic hits the trade market.
Just depends on what people are willing to do. Like, are the Rockets willing to do like Amen Thompson and Şengün? Like
Right.
that, and then it's like, okay, well, now you're all in on the Jokic, Kevin Durant. Like, you got a very, very short window, and that's the type of thing. It's like, well, like a Towns for Jokic, Towns plus package. It's like, okay, that interesting. Just depends on what they want to do. If this Jokic, decides to come out, ironically, like a Jalen plus Clippers pick plus the Sixers' own picks, it's actually a pretty good package. But the existence of Joel Embiid makes that very unlikely.
Yeah.
Spurs are kind of a weird fit. They have a ton of assets. Are they really doing a Jokic Wemby front court? And if they're not including Dylan Harper, what are they really offering? So you go through it, like the contract that the Thunder would have to send out is Chet. And it's like, how tantalizing is a Chet contract at this point? Like, really good player, but and the OKC pick. So they're yeah, and this is why this season's important, man. Get those young guys, get those pump those
Yeah.
values up, man. Pump those values up. You know what we don't want to see? Derek White playing 77 games at 34 minutes a night. That's going to be something I say a lot. We don't need to see that.
No.
We just don't need to see that. Last little thing before we get out of here. I don't even know if we've talked about this yet, but the Pritchard starting versus not starting thing. Where are you on starting, not starting?
So look, okay. The caveat being, like, I know what people are going to say. It doesn't matter. It matters if you finish games. Okay, let's put that aside.
I stopped myself from saying it.
I know. Yeah, let's put this. We all know. We all get that, and that will probably be somewhat matchup dependent, right? I'm all in. I think Pritchard should start. I understand the arguments against it. But I really think, like, he is one of your 5 best players. He fits next to Derek White and Jayson Tatum perfectly. And Joe has traditionally loved pulling Tatum early. And often for like Sam Hauser. So if you pull Tatum early, the numbers with Pritchard and White and no Tatum in the last 3 years, 2,051 minutes. So not a small sample size, plus 10.8 net rating. Pritchard without Tatum or White, plus 5.8, 1,300 minutes, which is good. But I think you really want to make sure you're pairing Derek and Pritchard together when Tatum is off the court. And you can achieve that with Pritchard on the bench, right? But I think you also want the force multiplication of the 3 of them playing as many minutes together as you can as well, especially to start games and get off to a hot start. Whoa, the 3 of them plus 16.4 net rating in the last 3 seasons together. Tatum and Pritchard without Derek, 1,500 minutes plus 12.6 net rating. So like the combination of those 3, we absolutely batter people. So I want to see those 3 start games, start strong. Tatum comes out early. You still have White and Derek to handle the ball handling when like a Hauser comes in or Ugo comes in or Baylor comes in. And then you can take both of them out and say it's point Tatum for 6 minutes while those guys get a breather. To me, I think it just makes sense rotationally. You pair the guards together to share ball handling duties. And then Tatum, him and Baylor can handle like co-share ball handling for the most part. And like Conley.
Yeah, Tatum in the bench has been a cheat code for a very long time. So if you're comfortable with Pritchard and Derek running, I mean, we have it from last season. It just like, which kind of made me laugh. So you look at all that you would Jalen, Derek, Pritchard, 3-man groups sorted by net rating. At the top, Pritchard and Derek, Jalen off, plus 15.4. Derek on, Pritchard and Jalen off, 12.7. Pritchard on, Brown off, 12.5. And then finally, Jalen makes an appearance on the 4th lineup with Derek and Jalen, but it's half as impactful at plus 6.6. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can kind of see it sort of from top to bottom. And there is a trend that is very... At some point, it's just funny when it comes to the Jalen on-offs and the analytics because, like, yeah,
it's really telling you something.
It's really
saying something.
The numbers are telling a story. Whether the numbers are correct or not, I guess is where we're going to find out. But I guess the flip side of that, and I'm not the flip side of it, is it keeping Tatum and Pritchard together has been really successful since Pritchard's come in the league. Looking at playoffs in 700 minutes in their careers, Celtics have +8 with Pritchard and Tatum on, +2.7 with Tatum on and Pritchard off. Like those, like Pritchard does complement Tatum really well.
Oh yeah.
So like that's another way to construct these lineups is because you can run these screening actions with Pritchard where he flares out and you've got really different types of bodies guarding Pritchard versus Tatum, and you can really create funky matchups in that way. And Pritchard's really good off ball. He can space the court out to 30 plus feet. They've been a really good duo together. So I like keeping those guys together if you want to do that too. And as we've said to start this, both guys are going to be playing 30 plus minutes. They're going to be sharing the court a lot together either way. On the other side, it's like, okay, Derek as the lead initiator and shot creator, maybe not optimal. However, I do think you're able to create the maximum chaos agent lineups by taking Pritchard off the court.
Yeah.
And Tatum off the court to a degree as well, because he's not exactly the offensive rebounding machine. So it's like Derek as the spearhead with Mitchell Robinson at the big man spot. And then you can kind of and then you have the 3 young wings. And you can choose maybe Baylor because you want some ball handling, Baylor, Ron, and Walsh or Ugo or whoever. So it's like you've got the Tatum Pritchard lineups that are like the creation, shooting, spacing, a little more finesse. And then you could go these complete just absurd chaos agent lineups too. And I guess the point really is that there's a lot of ways to slice this roster, and it's quite exciting.
Yeah, dude. Like no matter how you flip it, like this team can put together some absolutely absurd lineups. And I think the core of the reason we can do that too is that it's always one Akeda or Mitchell Robinson. Like, there's going to be games where Robinson doesn't play. Okay. But assuming we're healthy.
That still works though. Like he's the offensive rebounding machine too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Garza's fine. He's fine.
Third big. Third center.
He's a very solid third big. But like you just always have like we've got our screen setter, we've got our rim protector, we've got our offensive rebounding like monster at all times on the court with those 2 guys. And then we can just kind of build whatever the fuck we want behind them. Like and I just really like you can go just massive with like 3 of the wings and Derek White. You can go like smaller with like Conley, Pritchard, White, Tatum, or Conley, Pritchard, White, Paul George, or if you want to get real crazy, Conley, Pritchard, White, Baylor. Like there's just a lot of just, hey, we're just really fast. Everybody can pass, dribble, shoot, and like makes really good decisions with the ball. Oh, and Kata's behind us defensively, and I don't know if you listen to Sam Vecini, he ranked the top 25 defenders in the NBA. He had Nimi right outside the top 25. So one of the 30 best defenders in the NBA. Yeah.
He was awesome last year.
He really was. So, I mean, there's some really, really fun shit you can do. My one concern is that there's not enough minutes for all the young wings.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the big one. And there isn't enough minutes.
No,
unfortunately. Now there might be, assuming we can get Derek down to 70 games and we can get Paul George down. Like I'm not sure I have to try to get Paul George down to 60 games.
Yeah.
But like,
well, he's got 25 for the PEDs already.
Yeah,
so let's talk that.
Well, I did look this up. The second defense is 55 games.
Perfect. So. Get hit right now, buddy.
Yeah. Get tested. Like, give us like 15 games.
Yeah.
Get some chemistry, and then take the next 55 off, and then you can come back for the last 10. Good to go. We got Trade Sam in the chat, guys. I think having Hauser is important because I think while we love these other wings, Hauser is the only one. Baylor was pretty hot last year, so maybe he can fill that role. But then you can create real shooting lineups with Tatum and have crazy spacing with like Tatum, Pritchard, Hauser, Paul George, and choose
Baylor.
a big. Doesn't matter. Like, just choose a big. And so you're like, those guys are like
Baylor's got it.
Yeah. Baylor. But like Pritchard, Hauser, and Paul George are elite shooters. And you surround Tatum with those guys, like, and you're just running pick and roll with Cater and Mitchell Robinson. This with the lane so wide open, I think is going to be really valuable. Yeah, Sam and Tatum have been really, really efficient. So I'm not, hurrying to get Sam off this roster. I'm fine with, shrinking his minutes because, Joe has definitely been quick to make him the starter. And I get it. Like he's just a good player. Yeah, I don't think Sam's going to be pushed out the door.
I think the one thing is like, okay, yes, we can trade Sam and it opens up minutes for the young guys. And like, I do trust that they'll be good, but there's also a chance they're not, right? Or like only one of them's good. And then you got rid of Sam Hauser, a guy that you can trust in the playoffs. And I really don't think the return is going to be super worthwhile, especially with him on that contract. He makes nothing, absolutely nothing right now. So one thing I'll say is Conley's an elite shooter too. He shot it like shit last season, but he had 3 straight years at 41% or
cooked in the playoffs though. Yeah, he was hot in the playoffs.
Yeah, and then he dipped to 36%, and then it was like 2 years at 41% or better before that. So he has been like basically a decade of shooting 40% from 3, give or take. And again, brilliant, amazing, smart decision maker, which all of these guys really are. Outside of maybe like Kata, who I wouldn't say is like a plus decision maker for his position, or Robinson, but they're not going to be making too many decisions. So you've got just this bizarre blend of dudes who just know how to play basketball and a lot of dudes who can shoot the absolute shit out of the ball, and you just plopping them next to Jayson Tatum. And I think it's going to be very easy for them to figure out. Like, I think this team could be a monster a monster in the regular season.
Yeah, I've kind of keep saying it's like if you get 55 to 60 from PG and Mitchell, I think, which I'm calling Mitchell now, apparently. I think 60 wins is like I'd be
on the table.
Pretty comfortable betting on it if you get those amount of games from those guys. And again, obviously assuming Tatum is 95, 100%. I just don't see the recipe for not like that. They were second in defense in offense last year and 5th in defense. And those are the two numbers I can't get out of my head because I'm like, you're second in offense, 5th in defense. You replace Tatum for Jalen, and you add Mitch Robinson, and who solves your biggest weakness by like such a significant margin than anything else on your roster. And you add Paul George. So it's like, maybe because the East is so good, it's gonna be hard to get to 60. But top 3 seed to me I'd be very surprised if they don't get a top 3 seed. And I think I think they should be the favorite for the 1 seed. I'm pretty comfortable saying that at this point. The Knicks are never a regular season juggernaut, and then who else is? Like the Cavs won 52 games last year. They're older with James Harden now, so like the Pistons won 60. I think they're gonna take a step back. It's like
Pacers have never been like, even the year they went to the finals, they won like 48 games.
Exactly.
And the Knicks, we know what a finals run does. Like, it's really hard to turn around. I mean, we repeated and we're fucking awesome the next season, but I just don't think the Knicks are going to care. They're gonna be like, we'll be the 4 seed. Doesn't matter. We know how to win in the playoffs. So yeah, man, like it's us and the Wizards. Alex Sarr, our turn. So like AD and AS just fucking dominating down low. But the flip side is the East is a lot deeper. So it wins may be harder to come by against some of these shittier teams. But we always say that. And then I know that there's no tanking anymore, but like there's just going to be some really shitty teams due to injuries and things like that, man. Like it's going to happen. So I'm with you. Like I think we're going to top 3 seed. I would lock that in immediately if we could bet on it. So I'm with you. But should we wrap it up there? You got anything else before we jump?
No. Let's wrap it up, man. That was fun. We had a good time hanging. We had some renegades in the chat out here today.
Yes. Some wild conversations. Somebody said Jokic sucks.
Yeah, it's always tone shifter.
That's true.
I put in timeout a little while ago. So which I'm gonna keep doing if you keep I can't tell if he's a troll, if he says and if he believes any of the things that he says or not.
It seems earnest to me.
It does seem really earnest. There's too many messages for it to not be earnest at this point.
Exactly.
But everybody else that's not like that, we actually appreciate your contributions.
Yes. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Thank you, everyone who's on the Patreon. And again, October 29th, live show, 99.9% locked in. We should have more details coming in hopefully the next 48 hours. And again, if you're a Patreon member, you will get early access and a small discount. So join the Patreon. And especially as the season starts cranking up, we'll be posting a lot more extra content on there. So that is going to do it for this one, everybody. We are out. Thanks for joining us. Peace.